So I wanted to get this video out a little bit earlier because my last video I put out about an hour before the game started, so I didn't really have enough time to talk about things that I wanted. So I'll make this video is going to be a little bit longer, but I just wanted to say that I still stand by my prediction with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, um, matchup wise, obviously Golden State's the better team. And I want to shout out D. Allen Ricks really fast before I talk about the rest of the stuff in this video. I'm not going to go into all the backlash that LeBron James is getting about the marijuana and all that stuff. But he did, that's been talked about already on many YouTube videos. So they are playing down the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers can even win a game in this series. Okay, so D. Allen Ricks TV brought up a good point, and he said that in his video, he said that if the Cleveland Cavaliers win another game, it's rigged. Okay, um, in a way, I agree with him only because Cleveland is so overmatched in this series. It's already telling that they don't match up with Golden State, but um, you know there's certain things that the refs can do to get Cleveland to perform better, okay? And we're going to see it. We'll see it. We'll know today in game 3 when they play at home, okay? Whether or not Cleveland is a totally different team than they were in the first 2 games, okay? Because you can really manufacture and manipulate a game the way you want it depending on whether the refs are going to allow that to happen, okay? And this would be the game for it. I'm going to explain and go into a little bit more detail, but I just wanted to show, I agree with D. Allen. I wanted to shout him out just for that point that he made, because in a way he's right that if they do win another game, saying that everybody's saying Cleveland is overmatched. So in a way, if Cleveland does win another game, it is. It is. He has a point there, okay? Because Cleveland shouldn't win another game the way they've looked in the previous 2, okay? So I wanted to show from the last game that they played, okay? So June 4th, this was the game where the second game that they got blown out, okay? 9-point favorite. But see, a lot of the times, just because they didn't cover the game line, they ended up covering the first half, okay? So if you're a betting person and you've been watching a lot of my videos, I've said in many of my videos that it's better to break up your bets, your wagers, when you're betting on a game. When you have this amount of people focus on a game and there's going to be a lot of money on the game, you want to break it up even into quarters. I recommend splitting up into halves because you know that the books and Vegas is not going to lose both halves. Most of the time they're not. If they do, it's just going to keep building up, and then you're going to get that game where, like for instance the Celtics, where nobody expects them to win and they beat Cleveland as a 16-point underdog, okay? You're going to get that type of result when something, because at that point they were losing and that built up for that. So they needed that. Okay, so they target specific games where they're going to manipulate it when the refs need to control the game, okay? So as you see here, in the first half, they won the first half. When Kyrie Irving made that layup, it wouldn't have mattered. Even if he would have missed it, they would have been down by 5, and the line was 5.5. So Cleveland would have covered the first half anyways, even if Irving didn't make that layup at the very end with like 2 seconds to go into halftime. So they did win the first half, okay? So if you would have bet the first half there, you would have won. All right, so I just wanted to show that that you can still win even when the team doesn't perform for the game, okay? Because the underdog will always play for Vegas, okay? You have to understand they'll always play for Vegas, whether it's in the quarters or whether it's in the halves, all right? So next I want to talk about the line on today's game, okay? So I'm going to go to today's game, the 7th. Okay, so you see here, Golden State, this line opened up at 2, and it's moved between 3.5 and 4. It's moved up, okay? So now that in my last video, I said that we established the public side, okay? So the public is going to start to go with Golden State from now on, okay? And like I said, all the backlash is on LeBron James now with the marijuana in the locker room, which is not a big deal to me. Everybody does that, and they're just trying to pinpoint people, and put a lot of backlash on LeBron. I'm sure it goes on in other locker rooms, and that's shouldn't even be a story. They just want people to not like the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's just the way it is, so that they can benefit off of them when they do come through. Okay, so Golden State is a 2-point favorite. They opened up as a 2-point favorite. It moved to 3.5. Okay, it's moved to 4.5, some books. So there's a lot of money pushing this Golden State lineup. Okay, because of what the media is telling us about the Cleveland Cavaliers and how good Golden State is. Okay, nobody thinks Cleveland can come back from a deficit of 2-0. Okay, so. And don't forget, Cleveland will be the only team in history if they do come back from an 0-2 deficit back-to-back series, okay? So that's something really to think about. And I'm assuming if that does happen, LeBron would have to be the greatest of all time, okay? And I still think that's the narrative. I still think that they want that as the narrative to happen. LeBron James to be the greatest of all time, okay? He's the highest paid player. Okay, they make tons of money off of him. Okay, so why not? Why not make him the greatest of all time? Okay, I'm just putting out there what I see. Okay, what I envision in my mind, and how I see the league and how they market these players. Okay, so I want to look at the first game that Cleveland played. Okay, so as the series started, people were uncertain, okay? They didn't know who was going to cover this first game. They had Golden State as a 7.5-point favorite, okay? So a lot of people were actually going with Cleveland in the first game, okay? 60% of tickets were taking the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first game, okay? And that's why Golden State ended up covering, okay? So people thought Cleveland was going to stay moderately close, okay, back and forth in the first game. They thought it was going to be a real close matchup to begin with, okay? Now we get to game 2, which was on the 4th, and it's still, okay, it's a 9-point favorite, okay? The public is still uncertain. You still got the even bets here. 50% of tickets are on both sides, okay? So you don't know where the money is by just looking at this percentage, but you know that the tickets are split up, okay? So the public is saying, okay, we still think it's an even matchup. We still think Cleveland can stay close, okay? And look what happens. They get blown out again, okay? Okay, so now we get to game 3, and this is where this is the game that's going to show, okay, are they trying to get Golden State or are they trying to get Cleveland back in the series? This would be the game where the refs would control it to keep Cleveland in this game. Very close in this game. This would be the one that they're targeting, okay? Golden State comes in 80%, okay, because of the first 2 games and all the backlash on Cleveland Cavaliers, okay? So 80% comes in on Golden State, which that's right because of what they've seen, the public, okay? They've pushed the line up 2 points. So a lot of money is going with Golden State today. And this one is very lopsided. Okay, so this is an update. I just checked the update on this, and it's dropped a little bit, 76%, but because more bets are coming in now. But I don't see this moving off of 70% by game time. Okay, so I'm looking at an 7 to 8 out of 10 tickets on this Golden State team tonight. Okay, and this is a very low line, so that's very that's kind of scary knowing that there's so many people taking Golden State. Okay, so personally, I expect Cleveland to cover this game tonight. Okay, plus 3.5. They're going to cover 1/2. They're going to cover a half in this game. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I've seen too many situations like this, and normally that is what the case is. Okay, Cleveland's going to cover a half. if I had to say, I would take Cleveland for the game as well. They're going to cover this line, and they're probably going to win the game. Okay. Um, I've done this for a long time. I just see too many situations like this. Okay. Um, sometimes you take losses and stuff like that, but I've seen this too many times happen over and over and over again. Okay, so I got to roll with Cleveland here, and I'm just telling you like it is, and that's how it is. I see this all the time, so I do expect Cleveland to win for sure today, and cover for sure. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. But yeah, they are playing down the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers cannot win in the series, cannot win, and the public knows that they cannot win. So we'll see if the refs help out Cleveland tonight with a bunch of calls that they don't deserve to get, because this should be a sweep. This should be a sweep the way it looks. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see tonight. And that's basically it for this video. Um, that's how you break down these matchups and figure out what the public and what Vegas is trying to do. You always want to see what they're trying to get the public to bet on, and then you could capitalize and from there, because you'll know whether they're lopsided on one side or the other. So I'll be back with some more videos. I'll see what happens tonight, and I'll be back with another update coming soon. So comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks for watching the videos and sharing my videos as well. And I'll see you then.